that demand coming in. So today and tomorrow is going to be a little bit more about marketing. Today is going to be about branding, messaging, and making sure you got a good website, making sure that you've got all the different pieces that you need together to create that demand. So you have that that more demand and supply situation, which causes you to have waiting lists, but positive waiting lists, not because you can't grow, but because, hey, you're growing at your speed. And each time you raise prices, each time you add classes, that you've got more demand coming in to fill those classes and to fill those spaces. So today we're going to talk about branding and messaging. So first up, this is me again. I guess we don't need to keep going over me, but I'll go over this again. Former gym owner. We owned our gym for about 12 years, and that was on the California-Nevada border. I've been in media for about 20 years in television, radio, and publishing. So I do know, and mainly working with small business owners. So I've got a lot of experience with working with helping small business owners grow. Obviously, I'm the dad to that little guy there, and the husband to Tiffany, who is also a gymnastics pro. I've been speaking at gymnastics congresses since pre-pandemic, and last year at National Congress. And a lot of the conversations that I have are very similar to this. It's about growing your businesses, getting you to where you should be, getting your dream back on track if you feel like it's a little bit stagnant or it's stuck. I know all of you, if you own your gym, you had a dream in mind when you started, and sometimes we lose sight of that dream, and we want to get that back on track. It's a big motivation for me. I love helping gymnastics gyms because we own a gymnastics club, and we experience those moments when we're staring at the ceiling, wondering how we're going to move forward and not feeling like we have a lot of support. And that's basically what our company is formed on, is giving a bunch of support to you guys to help you get to where you want to be. That support comes through everything that we do. My hope is we've been marketing gymnastics and dance studios since 2015, so we've been doing it a while now. We've seen a lot of stuff happen. We survived the pandemic like most of you did as well, and we've been through the ups and we've been through the downs, and we really do understand the business, which is very unique in a lot of ways. We're supporting about 2,700 gyms and gymnastics in the gymnastics marketing Facebook group. And we also have a dance Facebook group as well, where we're supporting dance studios as well. But gymnastics is kind of where a lot of our contacts and support has been going historically, mainly because we've actually owned it. Here's a fun fact. Lindsay and her family actually owned a dance studio for a number of years too. So we have a lot of knowledgeable staff and a lot of experience with this industry. So what are we going to do today? So yesterday, obviously, we spoke about the strategy to make more money and get more enrollments. Today, we're going to be talking about branding and messaging on websites, on ads, how we want to be talking to the parents, all of that good stuff, right? Tomorrow, just to remind you, you'll be meeting with my business partner, Russell, who will be doing an in-depth discussion on how you actually use Facebook and Instagram to target parents with your message, which is really the game changer, which technologically we've never had that ability to do before, right? Only in the last 10 years or so have we been able to pinpoint every parent that has Instagram and Facebook in our communities. And luckily for us, most parents, it's probably up into the upper 80s, lower 90s, have either Facebook or Instagram on their cell phones, and they utilize it every day. So we're going to be talking about how we actually pinpoint them. He's going to show you step by step of what our process is to do that. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about converting interest into enrollments, which is, hey, we now got our branding and messaging done. We've now targeting the audience really well. This is how we actually reach this. And this is what we do with that interest that's now being generated to make sure they become paying clients. I'm going to talk about that on Thursday. So moving forward, branding and messaging that gets the attention of parents. So when you're crafting your branding and messaging for any advertisement or message or communication with parents, come what may, consider what the parent's why is for signing up their child to their activity. So do you guys want to share some things that you think is a reason why a parent will sign up to a class? Anybody share their idea? What is a major draw factor or a draw card to your gym?
This is James. I think a lot of our parents sign up to give their child a recreational activity, something that's physically active during the week.
Yep. And why do they do that?
Partly because they think they should, because other people do, and partly because it's a good thing to do. I think they realize that.
Right.
Some of it's from their intention, some of it's from what their friends or society leads them to believe.
Sure. There are some very personal whys, right? I don't know. I personally don't sign up my son to anything because of what my neighbor thinks I should do. I kind of do what I think is good. Maybe I'm a little bit different, but what we found is the reason why parents sign up to their kid to activities, to gymnastics, to dance, is they have some things that they want to have done. And there was my wife just coming in. She just finished coaching gymnastics in the park. The reason why parents are signing up their kids to your activity is that they have an internal thing of what they want. And really, when it comes down to it, it's they want their kids to be all they can be, right? They want to give their kids a better life or a better childhood than they had. They want to help their kids become stronger and more accomplished. They want their kids to learn how to overcome their fears. They want their kids to have more courage. They want their kids to meet friends, have a healthy outlook on life, start exercising. All those things are whys that parents have, right, for their kids. And there's many, many more. I'd love to get some ideas that you guys might have as to why. And what we want to do is we want to be able to synthesize that message around what you guys do. So think about their pain points, think about their desires, not yours. Try not to actually really think about why you think they should join. Think about why they should join. And the best way to do that is to actually talk to them, right? So you're not competing with you are competing with all kids' activities. You're not just competing with gymnastics and dance, right? Or swim schools or whatever. Whatever your industry is, if you're a gymnastics club, you're not competing with other gymnastics clubs. If you're a dance school, you're not competing with other dance schools. If you're a swim club, you're not competing with other swim clubs. You're competing with everything, right? So there's some kids that won't come to gymnastics because they're busy playing soccer. So many parents will choose between one or the other. So we're competing against everything. And what we want to show is that we fill the void of everything that the parent is looking for, right? So parents are looking for activities that help their children develop the discipline to learn new skills, overcome challenges or discouragement, get some more confidence, overcome their fears. Those are really good tools for a young child to learn at an early age in a safe environment, which is what gymnastics can do. They're looking to help their kids start getting feedback from someone other than themselves, especially at a kinder gym or lower levels, so they can improve, right? It's that beginning moment where they start learning about taking some instruction from somebody other than mom or dad, right? I know that was a really big deal for me and my wife with our son, because he basically hardly listens to us. Funny thing is, he does listen to his coaches, which is kind of cool. Allow them to create friendships with other children outside of a school environment or their normal environment, with other kids that are maybe dealing with the same challenges and so forth that they have, and stay active and healthy and have fun. So those are kind of general things. And then inside of these things here, you can actually dig deeper to things that are motivational for the parent. The parent is trying to improve their child. The parent is trying to help their child grow. The parent is trying to help their kid find something that they really enjoy and become healthier and active, right? And we need to be thinking about that. One of the best ways to go about it, if I'm honest with you, is for you to have a discussion with all of your parents in your gym. Talk to the parents in your gym, find out why they joined, right? Find out what it is that they love, find out why they continue coming to your gym. And those oftentimes are going to be the messages that we want to share with your local community, right? And we want to capture those stories and all those things that are proving it. There's a thing that I do when I interview somebody, and I probably did this with Lindsay when we hired Lindsay, but we don't typically say, what do you think about something? And then the interviewer says, well, I think this, and it could be a lie for all we know. What we do is we ask, when you were dealing with this situation, tell me a time when you were dealing with this situation and give me some information about that, right? What we want to do, and what that does is kind of show proof. And there's like okay, if they're actually talking about what they actually do for these people, then it must be actually true. It must be something that is actually happening. So what we want to do with our messages is construct stories around what's happening inside the business, right? So especially with your social media, my advice is strongly to be capturing all those really cool little stories that are happening with photos and video, and then telling the story of what's going on and sharing those. What will end up happening is those parents that find, that want, to create friendships with other children. The story of a little 5-year-old talking about their friend that they made at school, at gymnastics or at dance or whatever the program is, will be something that will really capture their attention and inspire them to maybe join your location. The parent that's wants to help their kid get more courage and overcome fear and learn some new skills, they're going to be inspired by the stories about what's going on in the gym and how kids have overcome these issues and learn how to get more courageous and so forth, right? So we want to be telling stories and showing the parents all these wonderful things that are going on inside your location. And what I kind of like really want you to think about is every day there's probably 1 or 2 really cool things happening. Because we're busy, because we're running around, because we kind of like just think it's everyday stuff, we see it all the time. They're not everyday things that the community sees all the time, right? Most of your locations are pretty special places where really wonderful things are happening daily. And what we want to do is capture those and share them with the community. We might think that they're everyday things. Over time, even the kids might think that they're everyday things. But I can't tell you how many times that how many of you have, let me ask you this question and just say yes or no. How many of you have had an experience where there's a new kid that's joined and they're so over the moon and they're so giddy with excitement, and the second time that they come and the third time it's still in them, right? They're so excited because it's such an amazing experience that they've really never experienced before. You hear stories of the parents saying she's doing forward rolls and backward rolls off of the furniture and all of that kind of stuff. These are very common things, right? I'm sure, how many of you have heard those kind of things from parents, especially from a new kid that's just joined, right? I'm testing to see if anyone's listening. So, is anyone there? Hello, is anyone there?
Yeah, it's James.
Okay. James, you're here with me, but I don't know, like Maria's there. I think Maria's there. Ashley, Sarah, are you there? Kaylee? Okay. All right. Maybe Kaylee, Sarah, and Ashley have.
I'm here.
All right, Kaylee. Sorry to call you guys out.
I'm here. That's okay.
But most of you have heard these things before, right? You've heard these wonderful stories. We want to make sure that we're getting those out to the community, right? If we're not, we're missing out. And it's very easy to just tell people this is what's going on every day, but we do it in a way that's really engaging. So branding and messaging in your ads. So this is actually when you're doing paid ads. And I really highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys do paid ads, right? It'll cost you a little bit of money. And I would suggest that if you can put as big a budget as you can onto it, but those paid ads are going to widen the pool of people that know that you exist. Remember, the goal is over time to have your business become a household name in your local community. It's not going to happen by you constantly talking to the same people in the same pool every day, right? So you're talking to the people that are already at your gym, maybe some of their friends if you do a bring a friend day, and talking to people that have left your gym. Most gyms do email marketing, and that's who they're talking to all the time. They're really not talking to the greater community. So I really do advise for you guys to make a budget, have a budget, a decent budget, right? So the recommendation on Google oftentimes is about 500 a month. That might sound scary, but if you're doing $500,000 a year, or 300,000 a year, it's not a whole bunch, right? It's 6,000 a month. Sorry, a year. Sorry, 6,000 a month. That's 6,000 a year, which is about 2 to 3% of 300,000, right? If you're looking to grow your business, the advice is that you should be spending about 8 to 10% of your gross revenues on your marketing. And that would include a marketing person and your marketing budget and so forth. If you're looking to just maintain, you should be spending about 4 to 6% of your gross revenue. So if you're at 1,000 kids and you just want to stay at 1,000 kids, spending about 4 to 6% of your gross revenues would keep you in a maintenance kind of level. So if you look at what your budget is and go, okay, well, I could spend this. Now, what I would say is you probably don't need to spend, I think even our biggest gyms aren't spending much more than 2,500 a month on ad spend. Now, you might think that's a lot, but that's kind of the ceiling, even in a big market, right? It gets to a point where it's just hard to spend too much more money in a 10-mile radius, right? So on Google, I would suggest probably about 500 would be a healthy budget. You could probably spend a little bit less if you wanted to, but 500 would make sure that pretty much any parent that's searching for you can find you, and you only pay when they click on your ad, by the way. So, if you spend $500, you probably got a few hundred people look at your website or click on the ad and actually start engaging with you, and that should easily turn into a lot of growth in your business. From a Facebook standpoint, an Instagram standpoint, which I again highly recommend that you work on to tell the stories of what's going on in your business, probably about another $500, right? Would be a healthy budget, right? You can spend more if things are going really well. You can spend a little bit less if things are tight. But I would say a healthy rule of thumb would be about 500 on Google and about 500 on Facebook and Instagram. Does that make sense? Anybody scared of those numbers? Anybody go, oh my gosh, that just seems like so much money? Anybody?
This is James. Seems like quite a lot if you're pretty dominant in your market already.
Are you dominant in your market?
Oh yeah.
What makes you say that?
We
Sorry, James.
well, we have more participants than pretty much anyone around us, I would say. I mean, not more than Little League,
Right.
But,
well, that's what I challenge you to do.
But but I get it. But we're also, we've had massive wait lists for 2.5 years. I don't think we could take more people very easily.
Well,
anyway,
my question would be regarding that. So if you've got massive waiting lists, because you literally can't add any more classes, like there's no room in your gym, like you're open.
we're like everybody else. It's staffing. We just
okay. So there's a bigger thing there, right? And I love hearing that you're probably doing really well. It sounds like you've got some confidence and you're doing pretty well, right? And you're not hurting, let's say. But I would say that depending on your population, so remember, is about 17% of your population. I don't know where you're at. Whereabouts are you, James?
North Alabama.
Okay, so is that Birmingham?
No, Huntsville.
Huntsville. So how many people live in your catchment area that would drive to you, do you think?
Well,
100,000, 200,000?
Yeah, maybe a little bit over that.
Okay, so at 200,000, you're looking at about 34,000 kids in that area.
Yeah.
It's plus or minus a few thousand, right? Depending on the area, but about 30, let's say 30,000 kids. How many
Right.
kids do you currently have coming to your gym?
At 1,200.
All right. So they say, right, and we've seen that if you have your marketing going gangbusters and doing a really good job and you become market dominant, you can drive about 10% of that population to your business, right? So if you're at about 1,200, you could maybe grow another 1,800, reasonably comfortable. Once you get to about that 10%, it starts becoming harder and harder, but about 10%, you could look at that and go, okay, there's probably this market could probably deal with 3,000 kids doing gymnastics in my location, right? I could become that dominant, right? Now, it might put pressure on some of the other gyms that are out there. It might put some pressure on some of the other sports that are out there, but still we're talking about 30,000 kids. There's still 27,000 for those other businesses, right? Only 3,000 would be coming to you. So when we're talking about your market dominant, that's nice, and that kind of says to me that you're feeling confident about things, and I like that. But let's broaden our possibilities, right? If you're not doing a lot of marketing, if you're not spending a lot of money, if you're not really reaching the local population, you could have a lot of room to grow. And I would call a business market dominant, James, if most of the parents knew that you exist. Now, most of the parents know that you exist, but do most of the probably 30 to 50,000 parents that are in Huntsville know that you exist, right? And that is the goal. Once they do, then you basically can fill your gym up to almost whatever number you want, right? And that is the market dominance that I'm looking for. And I'm looking for you to really compete against soccer. I'm looking for you to really compete against baseball and football and all the other sports, right? Because the reality is, if a kid comes and does some gymnastics, you're probably setting themselves up with a really good base for other sports too, right? Gymnastics is a great sport to help other, sports thrive, to thrive in other sports, if that makes sense. So does that make sense? So if you're spending $1,000 a month on marketing to become, Huntsville famous, right? Huntsville household name, it's probably not that big of a dollar amount. If you've got 1,200 kids and you're charging $80, how much do you charge per month on average, James?
95.
Yeah, so at 95 times that by 1,200, so you're doing about 114,000, right? You probably, just to do a maintenance kind of level, I would be looking, if we were working and I was advising you personally, I'd be saying, okay, you probably should be spending about 5,000 a month on marketing, on some kind of marketing. Now that might include a marketing person, photography, ad spend, everything, right? 5,000 a month would put you at about 4% revenues.
Right.
Right. If you want to grow and become market dominant, in my terms of the word market dominant, spend about 8 to 10 and you will become market dominant. You'll never have to worry about where another kid comes from, because everybody will be talking about you because of all the amazing things and that undoubtedly happens in your gym every day. I know it. I used to own a gym myself. There's some wonderful things going on every single day in your location. And then all of a sudden, when the whole community sees all the wonderful things happening through your branding and messaging, you're off to the races. And then once you're there, it's very hard for anybody to take over from you. So I hope that helped. But yeah, to answer Maria's question, I would say a healthy budget in most markets, unless you're a very small market, would be say 500 on Google, because that means that you're gonna be in the mix for anybody that's searching for something for their kids to do, right? And you want to be in that mix because those people are actively looking to make a decision today. That would make sure that you have a good chance of reaching most parents that are searching every day for those keywords, and $500 towards making sure that there's a drip feed into your community to all the parents, very targeted, showing the amazing stories that are happening in your business. So with that being said, let's talk about what's in a really good ad. So we want to talk about the benefits of gymnastics and dance, friendships, confidence, health. We want to talk all about those things in your ads. We want to use photos of happy, smiling, laughing kids, preferably of your kids. If you can do a photo shoot, if you can have somebody who's talented with a camera to go through and do a photo shoot. Remember, when there is a photo shoot going on, make sure that the person taking the photos is thinking about the composition. You know, a lot of times we've had issues where there's been a beautiful photo taken of a beautiful smiling kid, and in the background there's a bunch of trash, right? So composition of photos is really important. Make sure, you know, that's why sometimes it's really good to get a professional photographer in, because they'll look at everything on the screen before they take the photo. And obviously you can sometimes use stock images, but we highly recommend that you use images of the kids that you have in your gym smiling and having a great old time. And get video as well. So video and photos. Now, just to be sure, make sure in your sign up forms that you have when kids sign up that you do have an image release clause in there. And I would have it's an automatic opt-in, where if the parent signs the agreement that they've automatically opted in. But I would also have a little part of it where you can have an initial if the parent wants to opt out, because some parents will want to opt out. And make sure you take a note of that, and make sure you don't take photos or videos of their kids when you are doing a photo shoot or whatever. Most parents don't mind, and that'll help you with your marketing. Tell the stories of the great things that are happening. Something I keep saying. Is that something that surprises you guys, or does it make a lot of sense? Hello?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you doing it? That would be a question, James.
Yeah, we're not doing paid advertising, so we're just putting out our own streams right now. So.
Yeah. So do you actually have a system or a process set up where you're actually capturing the stories consistently? I would highly recommend that you look at doing that. If there's money that you spend on marketing, and this would come under that marketing umbrella, right? So if I said to you, you know, it'd be a good idea for you to be spending about $5,000 a month on marketing, that might be putting some hours towards a staff member who's really good at, who has a nice phone and can write some stories and do some stuff. You might give that staff member, you know, 5 hours a week to actually just go and do that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And that becomes a process. Then what you might do is you might have a Dropbox folder or something where they can just download that information, put that information in there. And then if you've got a social media manager or someone who does your social media, they can just go in, pull that information from there and tell those stories. Highly recommend that. And it becomes a real constant thing, because what we want to do is we want it to be a constant drip feed of this information. What sometimes happens, and I see this a lot with gymnastics, especially gymnastics, is people get a lot of motivation and they start really going at it, and they do it for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then it just goes away, right? What's key is for you to constantly be doing it month in, month out for years. You do that, you become a dominant force, telling those stories about what's going on in your location, paid and just regular social, right? You're going to want on your social to sometimes boost posts to specific audiences that you've built, right? So it's very important, and this is something I'm just going to throw out to you guys. Don't just boost posts, right? Don't go onto Facebook and just drop $20 on a post because you think it's nice and just let Facebook do whatever. Make sure you build an audience, which is what Russell's going to talk about tomorrow, and have that audience built. And then when you do a post, you can boost that. Then when you do a post, you can boost that post to that particular audience, right? And make sure that that audience sees this information just constantly coming through, right? And those boosted posts can be like $5, $10 each time that you do one. You could do 2 or 3 of them a week, right? So this is the best ads. We've seen these convert at a very high level, get a lot of engagement, a lot of feedback, and a lot of inquiries coming from this kind of ad. Make sure that you have a call to action at the bottom with verbiage and visuals on your ad, okay? And make sure that the website that you're sending them to has the same kind of imagery, the same visuals and so forth. So there isn't a disconnect. Sometimes it can be if your ad looks a certain way and your website looks totally different, people can have a jarring experience and it can turn them off and they could just click off of it. And we find that if there's some harmony between how the ad looks and the message that the ad is sharing and your website, that there's a lot higher conversion rate. There's a lot higher acceptance of the website, and they will engage with it at a much higher level. And we've seen that time and time again. And remember, over the last 8 years, we've worked with hundreds of gymnastics gyms. We've run literally thousands of ads, and we've reached literally probably millions of parents. I know we've spent millions of dollars on gymnastics ads, and that statistic is very, very real. And we'll talk a little bit more about websites, but it's really important that your website is up to speed and up to snuff and telling the story that we want to be telling, right? Because there's oftentimes a disconnect with gymnastics or kids activity center ads. So here's a couple of examples of our top performing ads we've run for our clients. So here's Irvine Gymnastics. Your kids will love, with an emoji, learning different sports and activities at Irving Gymnastics. Your kids are guaranteed to have tons of fun, learn lots of new skills, and leave with a sense of accomplishment. So as you can tell there, that copy is talking about fun, it's talking about learning new skills, and it's talking about building their confidence and accomplishing things. These are all things that parents, we've seen time and time again, really are looking for their kids. We offer different classes for kids of all ages. Again, we're appealing to all sorts of, telling the parent, hey, doesn't matter what age your kid is, you could probably take them here. And we do a free trial class and a money back guarantee, which takes away the risk, right? Then there's check marks, and these are call to actions. Sorry, not call to actions. These are highlighting and reinforcing what we've just said. Free trial class, money back guarantee, over 75 years of gymnastics experience, which builds trust. A safe and unique environment where children of all ages can be are given the opportunity to succeed. It's mentioning multiple things here. The safe and unique environment is super, super important to parents if they're leaving their most their most prized possessions, which are their kids, with you. And then obviously succeeding. We want to hear that word a lot. We want the parents to be thinking that their kids are going to be successful with your organization. Then there's a little list of some of the programs that the gym offers. Then at the bottom, the class for everybody, sign up today. There's a button there that says sign up, right? Grow self-confidence through physical activity, sign up. Lots of smiling faces, lots of bright colors. We know that ad converted at a high level, right? Another example of another ad with Win Kids is, let me just move this here. No excuses and no boredom for the summer. Summer camp and classes at Win Kids are jam-packed with fun. 9 weekly camp themes add to the excitement. Gymnastics, ninja, obstacle training, tumbling, trampoline, high energy games and crafts, half day, full day options, early drop off, late pickup available. What we found with summer camps is oftentimes it's very important that the parents see the benefits to them as much as the kids. And that's why we're putting those in, which is, hey, you can drop them off, early drop off. You can drop them off early if you want. You can pick them up later if you want. If it's a half day or full day, you can do that too, right? And again, we've got lots of very, happy, positive photos. We do a lot of, like, this time of year, it's starting to ramp up with our summer camp marketing. We started January, and we usually start really pounding it out until probably mid-April or so. Usually past April, you start missing out on getting those summer camps full. But most of our clients will fill their summer camps with this kind of ad. And just if you're thinking about it for yourself, you need the ad running now, right? You need to get that rolling now, and you can fill your summer camps this summer. Irving Gymnastics again. Let's Tumble. It's an iteration of that first ad. You'll see that this photo was in the carousel ad that you just saw, and this will be being served up to parents constantly. So let's tumble and roll and have a great time with parents in gymnastics or ninja classes. We've got it all, including free trial to find your perfect fit. Learn gymnastics fundamentals from on all of the events and develop speed on the obstacle course. Healthy exercise for ages 3 to adult. Watch strength and confidence grow. keying on all those things that parents are looking to purchase. They're not looking for gymnastics. They're not looking to make sure their neighbors are happy with them. What they're looking for is their kids to be stronger, have more confidence, be healthy, and have a great time, right? Again, at the bottom is a call to action with a sign up for a free trial class today. Ask for their business. Make sure you do that. And obviously, again, we've got a happy smiley face. So any questions about that? Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. So branding and messaging on the website. So the website is really, really, really important. Before I start going through these, one of the things that we did earlier on, especially with gymnastics, is we went through about 1,200 gymnastics websites, and we found that about 90% of them were in bad shape, right? Probably about 80% of them were so bad that they were probably a detriment to the business, that parents would probably look at it and go, man, my gosh, what kind of organization is this? This is a really bad website. It was probably made 10 years earlier and by somebody's family member, right? About 10% of the last 20% didn't really do anything. They didn't necessarily hurt the business, but they definitely weren't helping the business. And then there was about 10% that were actually pretty decent, that were actually probably quite good for their business. So I would just challenge you guys to be very critical, have a very critical eye on your business, on your website. Have a look at it, something you probably don't often do. Have a look at it and go, does it reflect who we are and what we do? And is it what we want our local community to be thinking about when they visit the site, when they think about us, right? It's very, very important. That website is basically the little portal or the little window of your business to your community, right? And it's the main part where parents are going to do some due diligence, look through and see kind of what kind of organization you are. And most gyms, I would suggest, to have a subpar experience when it comes to that, and don't really capture what their business is all about. But here's a couple of really important things that I want you to write down. The best websites will have the phone number and address right at the top of the website, and they are clickable, right? So most people who are going to visit your website are going to do it on one of these, right? What they're going to then do is they're going to usually look for what's their phone number, right? The three biggest things that usually people are looking for is what's their phone number, what's their address, because I'm trying to figure out how to get there, or how do I email them quick, right? That's usually the three biggest things that parents are looking to do when they are on their cell phone and they go to your website. So you want to make sure that they don't have to hunt it down. You want to make it really easy for them to engage. So put your phone number right at the top, make it clickable. So when they click it, the phone starts dialing. Put your address on the top, make it clickable. So when they click it, that it opens up their maps so they can find you really, really easy. And then obviously, if you got your email address, make that clickable. So they click it and then their email pops open. They don't have to type it in, right? That will be step one. The next thing that we're looking for with the best websites is make it easy for them to sign up or book a class for a free trial, right? So most of you probably have iClass Pro or Jackrabbit or something else that is on your site to sign people up. I wouldn't force people to go through those systems, because they've got to go through, and especially if they're on their cell phone, they've got to go through a whole bunch of forms to fill out. They got to sign up. They got to put a profile together. They got to put all their information in there. Then they got to try to figure out how to do it. That's usually enough for many of your parents to just give up and not bother, or they get distracted, or something happens and they don't complete it. We've actually found a big difference between clients that force all the parents to sign up online and clients that don't, right? We find that the clients that don't force parents to sign up online have a lot more intake of trial classes, have a lot more kids that sign up, and it's orders of magnitude sometimes. I mean, we've seen gyms go from, say, having 5 people signing up a month to having 35 signing up a month, just because they're not forcing their parents to go through that portal right at the beginning. Because remember, most of them don't really know who you are. They haven't really bought into you yet. They haven't checked the location out. They haven't got through their process of actually deciding to do business with you. And if the first thing you're looking them to do is to commit a whole bunch of information and put a whole bunch of time into building a profile, they just won't do it, right? So be thinking about that, right? However, what I do recommend is that you have a form on there. In fact, one of the best websites, and we'll be showing that in a minute, that has an amazing conversion rate. They have a form on the side and you just simply fill it out, right? Just fill out, hey, this is my name, this is my phone number, this is my address, looking for this kind of class, and it gets submitted. And then your staff call them and organize it and help them get through that process. You want to make sure that it looks good, right? Complementary colors, not too much text, lots of fun photography. So don't have a black website with white writing. We see that a lot. Don't have a purple website with green writing. We've seen that a few times. Make sure that you don't have a whole bunch of writing on there. Be very, very, my brain's not getting the word that I'm looking for. Be very minimalistic on the amount of text that you use, especially because the majority of people that are using it are going to be on their cell phone, right? They're going to be using your website. It's going to be on their cell phone. If you want to explain something complicated, have a video on there for them to click and say, explaining this or hey, learn about this. And then they can click on it, and then you be on there talking about whatever you want them to hear instead of asking them to read a whole bunch of information. People just don't do it, and it actually turns them off, right? Short, sharp messages is what you want that are very direct or directing them to another part of the website, is what we recommend. Is optimized for mobile devices. Make sure many gymnastics websites or kids activity center websites that we've seen are not optimized for devices. If you've got a website that's over 8 years old, it may not be optimized for a device. If you've had one made by a professional reasonably in probably the last 5 years, it probably is. Couple of things, right? There's two types of optimized for devices. One is optimized for a mother who's looking at your website, trying to decide whether to sign up her child to your business, right? It needs to be nicely optimized where it makes it really easy for her to engage with you. The other optimization is for Google, right? Google will look at it, and the bar is not quite as high for Google as it is for the mum. You need to make sure that it's a really great experience, mobile experience for the mum. With Google, it's more about making sure that technically it's hitting all the marks. If you're not hitting the technical marks of a mobile device or a mobile website, Google will actually downgrade you and make it harder for you to be found by its users. So make sure, and it's like that comes into the website SEO optimization and all of that stuff. Make sure that your website is both optimized for Google, but also optimized for your parents so they have a really good experience. So examples of some really great websites. Let's go through this. So this is Texas Academy of Gymnastics. So at the top, you'll see enroll online. That probably goes to iClass Pro or Jackrabbit and member login. You've got their social media right up here, so it's easy for people to find it. They don't have to search for it. You got your phone number right here. So click on that and the phone starts dialing. Here's the clickable address. Click on that and it opens up into the Google Maps, so it's easy to find. Nice big photo, inspirational photo of kids doing gymnastics, probably teen kids by the looks of things. And then we've got drop-down menus up here to make it really easy for people to find different parts of the website with more information. What you don't see is a whole bunch of written text, right? It's when you get here, it's obvious that it's Texas Academy of Gymnastics. It's obvious where to go next. If you scroll down, so this is scrolling down from the top on the same website, we're concentrating on 4 different things, which is the most important things to that gym, right? So you've got gymnastics, open gym, preschool, and after school care. And if the parent wants to learn more, they can click on these, right? And we ask that you have 3 to 4 things, don't have much more than that, where you're funneling that parental interest. Because remember, what I'm hoping is if you're spending $500 to $1,000 a month on paid advertising, you're getting a lot of traffic of a lot of parents that are looking for things. Funnel them into the areas that are the biggest parts of your business and where you want most of the growth to be going, right? And then when you scroll further down, we've got a little bit more information about Texas Academy of Gymnastics, their programs, Celebrate with Us, the party packages. And then we've got their calendar of events, things that are happening over the next month or so. And then we've obviously got their location, so it's easy to find. Not a lot of writing, but it's doing all the things that we're looking for, right? We're getting a very clear message to the parent, and we're guiding them through the path of finding what they need to do business with you in every aspect. The next one is the club gymnastics. This is a super high performing website that we built for them a few years ago. And it is an absolute machine. It's really taken them to another level with the paid advertising that they're doing too, right? So at the top again, we've got a clickable phone number. We've got their social media. We've got their come visit. You can click on that, and that will actually open up into their address to help you find them. We've got obviously the breakdown of their core parts of their business they want you to find. The about us is really important. The contact us is really important. Gymnastics, Ninja, and camp. So they're 3 biggest programs that they offer, right? And they don't really get bogged down with much more than that. If parents have a parent portal, they can go in through here and they can actually enroll if they want as well. We've got community, dedication, strength, confidence, inspiration. These words are very important to the gym and very important to the parents. This is actually a ticker that's moving by. It's like slowly going through like this constantly. So they're promoting, they can promote whatever they want on there at any one time, promoting their summer camps when we took this screenshot. And then down here, they've done what I suggested, which they've focused on 2 to 3 important parts of their business. So the Ninja Zone, I know, is super important to them. Has been a bit of a game changer for them when they added Ninja Zone. Gymnastics and day camps. That's what they really focus on, and is huge for them. So, and they know that their ads that they're running are talking about gymnastics. Their ads are talking about Ninja Zone, and their ads are talking about day camp. So when people arrive on this website, they know exactly where they're going. And they've come because of those ads talking about day camps, talking about gymnastics, talking about Ninja Zone. Scroll a little bit further down, you get a little bit more information about their message. And obviously, you can see a little bit more information about what the Ninja is. You can click on the camps and click on the classes to see more information about those. This here is what I was talking about before. Make it really easy for people to interact with you and give their information so you can start following up for them. This is basically a lead generation form, right? So, hey, I'm interested so I'm a parent, I looked at this, I want to do gymnastics. So I go in here, fill out my name, so say, hey, I've got, I'm interested in signing my son up to gymnastics, and I send this off. That goes to a Google spreadsheet where it's been dropped into, where their staff can then look at it and then call the client, call them up and get them signed up to a class. Now, as I said here, they've got the parent portal and you can enroll online, but they're actually giving another option for the parent, so the parent can actually sign up, and it works so well, right? More information about the gym, their story, their mission, their facility. A little photo, and this is a scrolling photo of the facility, so parents can see it. Again, there's a nice big button that says enroll online, a nice big button that says contact us today. Not a lot of other information if you have a look at that. It's pretty simple, but it converts some machine. And again, at the bottom, this is where their gym is, so it's easy to kind of get an idea of kind of where that gym is. They want to have a look at it, right? Phone number, enroll now, and address again. So any questions about this? First up, any questions about websites? Here's a question that I have for you. How confident are you that you have a high performing, high converting website?
Not at all.
And you know what, James? You're in great company, so don't feel bad at all. There's a lot of really good gyms that have poor websites, and I would really suggest to really look into making sure that this is done really well. This is where I was saying to you yesterday, balance out what you're doing as a program, right? Many of you are doing great programs. You've got lots of numbers in your gymnastics club. You've got lots of really cool things happening, but you aren't necessarily putting much effort into your sales and marketing part of the business. And most well-run businesses have sales and marketing, product and service. It's not all product and service. Oftentimes, if it's all product and service, you become a warehouse. And funnily enough, a lot of gyms are warehouses. So what we don't want to be is we don't want to just be a warehouse. We want to actually be able to sell our products and services. And one of the first steps is making sure you have an engaging, beautiful, easy to use website that does what you need it to do, right? That doesn't have a whole bunch of added information that you simply just don't need, right? And this here is an example of an amazing website. And this is pretty much the template or the process that we go through when we build websites for our gyms. It's all the gyms that we build have very similar looking websites, not because it's easy for us to build a website that way, but we've now found that this style of website converts business for you, right? And really can showcase what kind of organization you are. So parents can be excited about it. It also tends to work really well with paid ads because you can create these to be in synergy with your paid ads that you're running, right? So if you're running a Ninja Zone ad, it's really easy for a mom when she lands on the page to see Ninja Zone to start interacting with it. Same with gymnastics, same with day camps. And then further down, this stays on all the pages. So when somebody's looking at the Ninja Zone, this is still here and they're like, you know what, I'm going to sign up. They just sign up. They just put in their information that gets sent off. The good news about that, and this is why I highly recommend that you have a really nice form on your page, which is really easy to and nice to engage with, and not just forcing parents through a parent portal, is many parents will give up or something will happen. They get distracted by the 3-year-old drowning the cat or something like that, and they just stop and then they just forget and don't come back. By doing this, you capture their name, you capture their email, you capture their phone number. Why is that good? Well, if they forget or they get distracted or they go and do something else, we've still got their information so we can start marketing to them from an email nurturing campaign standpoint. We can have our front desk staff calling them multiple days, texting them multiple days to get them back into the program, to get them back to us. Most parents, most mums especially, get distracted. They don't decide, you know what, I don't like their gym, I'm not going to do this. Usually it's a distraction. They've got, school pickups, school drop-offs, they've got dental appointments, doctor appointments, all those kind of things going on that they're taking care of their kids. Plus, some of them might even have jobs on top of that. Especially for a mom, life can be very distracting and quite a handful. So you want to make it really easy for them to interact with you, or to start interacting with you with a form like this. Okay, so highly, highly, highly recommend that you look at your websites and you really think about, is it one kind of like this Le Club Gymnastics website, but more importantly, does it reflect who we are? And does it show the professionalism that happens in this gym every day? And if it doesn't, you need to invest in getting a better website. So with that, again, 3 ways that we can help you. If you're not part of the gymnastics marketing group or the dance studio marketing group, please join. We can start giving you some free help. There's lots of advice. There's lots of things being uploaded into there all the time to help you get to where you want to be. If you want some more direct help, you can buy the Revenue Toolbox. It's actually an online course with video tutorials and walkthroughs and forms and all sorts of things that you need to be able to go through and kind of like do all these things yourself, right? There's even tutorials on how to build websites. There's tutorials on how to build ads. There's tutorials of how to put pixels on sites. Everything that we do with our staff is in this toolbox, if you want to look into that. And then finally, if you really want to take your business to another level and make 2023 super, super successful, you can talk to us about working with us. And there's a whole bunch of stuff we can do to really make things chug along. And I would suggest, James, Marie, and Sarah, definitely start off by having a look at your websites. If you need some help, let's talk about it. We can try and figure out how we can help you. At least give you some advice on where to go, at least maybe even look at your website and give you some advice on what you might want changed or updated and so forth. So lots and lots of help, from free to paid and somewhere in between, if you need that. And we've actually got 2 levels now on the revenue toolbox. If you wanted to go with that, you can pay monthly, which I think is about 147 a month to have access to the revenue toolbox, and that's just month to month. Or you can pay, I think it's $500 a month, and we'll actually you'll have access to live trainings where you can come in and ask questions and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, and one of the staff members will actually go in and help you. And that's group trainings, and you actually get a one-to-one session once a month as well, to make sure that you're moving towards you want to be. So that's kind of like in between of do it yourself, and it's kind of like doing it with you, so to speak. The full service is us doing it all for you. So that's it. Do you guys have any more questions? I hope that was helpful. Did that help?